All right, let's do it. Um, so we got this guy, Anomaly. He wants electricity and Aether. Yeah, I'm curious what to do here. Because let's take a look. Um, this, I'm kind of like thinking about what to do exactly because even though, so we look here, Anomaly is kind of preferred. Increase 50% anomaly damage plus more buildup rates. And he focuses around stun. Oh, look at this. If I'm reading this correctly, which oftentimes I don't because I'm stupid. Um, there's no, so like, let's go take a look at this one here. In some of these bosses, they'll be like here, this person reduces anomaly buildup resistance. So it makes anomaly agents more difficult to perform in here. The reason I'm kind of reading this and trying to figure out what to do here, go back, is because there doesn't seem to be any like, okay, there's a lot of anomaly bonuses, but there doesn't seem to be any hindrances. That the entire video. Um, but if I'm looking at this correctly, there's no debuffs here. Yeah, there's no debuffs here for people who don't use anomalies. So you can bring an attacker. Now, again, let's go back to this other one over here again. Why do I have to do this? If you can still beat this with an anomaly unit, probably. With anomaly, damage or whatever, probably. But it's not recommended, right? There's a lot of discouragement here in the sense that you're losing build-up res. It's not a whole lot because it's 10%, but there's other ones that are like similar. Do you have anything like that? I don't have an ice unit, and I have one anomaly unit. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to use her on this. So I'm gonna bring what's her name? I'm gonna bring Yishuan here. I'm thinking of bringing because so basically what this is turning out to be is I'm basically thinking maybe I should just bring Sambi here. What do you do again? Ice and Aether. Uh, damage dealt to boss. There's no. This one doesn't even have like a specialty. You know what I mean? Normally, right again. Let's go back here. Right here, it'll say rupture recommended. Here, I'm assuming. I guess since it's a Gen 1 unit, I'm sure it's like you can kind of just use whatever. They haven't really put a restriction on it. Again, not that those restrictions are necessarily like law or anything. They're just encouragements. But here it doesn't have a particular encouragement, so theoretically you could just be doing anything. Um, so the boss just does a lot of damage, so you just don't want to get hit as much. The more you destroy these clones, ice and aether damage. This would be a lot easier if I had. I've been considering. Again, I did the strategy I told you guys that I've been kind of doing over time. Is just do a 10 pull. I did a 10 pull on her. I didn't get her, so we're probably just going to move on. But this game and YouTube and social media and all that stuff has a really good job of like convincing you to pull things you don't need. So I might end up pulling her. The same thing I did with like Sana or whatever, or the second copy of Yuzuha, which I wasn't supposed to do, but I went for it anyway. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Like I don't think I will, but she could be kind of helpful to have another Aether unit, but let's not worry about that for now. I think the biggest issue is ice coverage. So theoretically, in the next patch, after Nangong Yu is gone, we're gonna get that new ice anomaly unit. If she, I'm probably gonna pull for her, but the question is like, do I want to pull for her anyway? The point being is I'm hoping to pull for her if she works well with Miyabi because Miyabi's still the main goal. It's like I'd like to have all three Void Hunters, but if she works well with Miyabi, it'd be great to pull her. But if she doesn't, I might have to like rethink what I'm gonna do there. So again, we're kind of spread a little thin. Now, one thing I wanted to try, but it's not ready yet because obviously she's not very good. It's probably her with like, let's go find Vivian. Like her and Vivian, try doing this or something like that. I'd have to change this to this. But I think here's the deal. If I do this, I'm pretty sure this team is still going to score lower than just running Jane here. You know what I mean? If anyone wants to see the build I have on her, this is the main. This will be the main reason why. I'm not running this. Just a placeholder. Normally, I'll if I run Jane with Grace, I'll run this weapon. But because Vivian needs this weapon more, I usually run her with this. It's not super great, but it's better than a 4-star because first of all, it gives her 50% anomaly buildup. As long as you keep dash attacking, right, you keep getting these stacks. So you dash attack or you dodge, you'll build this up immediately. So you'll get the 50% application rate, and then you'll get the 90 AP, which is still pretty good. The set is mainly just because there's no really good set on her. Maybe you could run a 4-piece of this, but like if you run 4-piece of this, it boosts her electrical damage, which is good, by 15%, so you get the anomaly plus electrical damage. But she has to kind of stay off field. If you're running her with Vivian, Grace is the one who kind of stays on field. So I don't know. It's like, again, in the long run, this is probably better. But I run her on high energy, so I was like, I'm going to give her a 2-piece of everything. But I don't know. I don't have the time to sit here and invest in giving her like the perfect build and min-maxing her like I have other characters that I want to invest in. All this gear is just kind of leftover gear that turned out pretty decent. Not great, but could be better. And like I said, these 3 different sets. So 30 anomaly proficiency is pretty good. The pen ratio is good. I like running her on pen ratio. And then finally the energy set is good, just because the more EX special she fires off, what I'm assuming is better. Again, I don't know enough about Grace. I haven't looked into her kit enough. But from my understanding, energy seems to be the way to go with her. Just keep spamming out her EX specials. Just stack up her passive and then throw her EX specials out. But if anybody has any insights or anything you can tell me about how to play Grace better, by all means. But again, the point just being that I could try doing Grace here, or I could just run Jane and still do better, even though we don't have the electric weakness. I think that's what I'm ultimately just gonna do. So these are the builds. Jane's on 422, high attack, low mastery, because I put an attack set here. Pen ratio 2 set. All these pieces are pretty good. Plus the S rank 2 here. What was it? 420 is basically the minimum AP you want, and then after that you just start dumping the rest into attack. Or you could do whatever, but either way. My Vivian, I've actually been kind of, again, I'm kind of like on the, what's it called? I've joined the cult of pen ratio, where it's like the end game. It doesn't have to be. I'm not going to tell you and say, oh, switch all your units to pen ratio. You know what I mean? But it just seems like one of the best sets for, like, once your builds are maxed out, like once you don't, take for example, like something like this character. Like, you know how you have the 2-piece woodpecker? A lot of units, I can't find any right now. I don't know where. I don't use it. Well, take her for example. Like once your unit, some builds will need the 2-piece woodpecker electro for the crit rate, but once you hit a high enough crit rate, like the 2-piece electro woodpecker doesn't really, like, it's diminishing returns once you have high enough crit rate, and as you get better pieces for these, like your whatever 4 set, don't look at her specifically, just units, right? So as you get better, whatever other side pieces, as you can see, a lot of my builds don't actually run the 2-piece woodpecker because I just kind of invest in their set a little better. But anyway, there's a lot of builds where you do run the 2-piece woodpecker for the higher crit rate, but it's kind of a crutch. So once your other 4-piece gets better over time, you can replace that woodpecker, and normally, most of the time, you want to replace it with branch and blade song. It's usually the best one. Don't ignore this weapon. I have that on Soldier 11. But normally, you want to replace it with branch and blade song, which I would recommend. But pen ratio is also another good option for not saturating certain stats, because some enemies will give you way more stats than you need, like more crit damage and all this other stuff. But like almost nobody gives you pen ratio except for Alexandrina, but nobody uses Alexandrina. Anyway, so that's kind of what I've been on. I'm like I said, I'm kind of joined the cult of pen ratio on everybody. So that's her build is 4-piece Phaethons plus the pen ratio. And the bottom line is it just doesn't hurt that much. It's whatever. Ultimately, I think with her though specifically, because take her. With her, I do think it's definitive that you do want to run pen ratio in this slot, because you already get so much physical damage bonus from this plus another from this, adding another 35 on top of that is kind of like, well, you're kind of oversaturating, right? So for her, I do 100% believe that pen ratio is the way to go. However, with her, you could probably run. Where is it? I had one here for some reason. Maybe I don't anymore. Physical pen ratio. Oh, I thought I did anyway. Yeah, I thought I had it. I don't know. Oh well. Anyway, with her, you'd probably still want to run Aether damage, just because her kit right now doesn't give her a lot of Aether damage bonus. Like you don't get any Aether damage bonus from here. Corruption status, general damage, all this other stuff. So the fact that she doesn't get any built in already means that Aether damage is still probably better here. But I'm just kind of testing out the pen ratio to see how it performs across the board. If I had her weapon, I think her weapon gives her Aether damage, but I'm not sure. If it doesn't, then like I said, I do think that just running this on, what's it called? Running this on Aether damage is probably the best way to go. But this one has a higher score, so I have a +1 here, so it's a 2 score, +3 down here, 2 plus the initial roll, so it's 3, so it's a 5 score. This is only a 4 score, so it's not that big a difference, but whatever. It just rolled a little better. But yeah, that's kind of how Vivian is right now. And then lastly, we do have Yuzuha, who is on this piece here. Again, her build's kind of whatever. This weapon, I think, is fantastic. Actually, I think this weapon, because you have the potential to bring this all the way to max 5 stars, and it does I don't remember, I think it's like 40. She gives out 40 damage bonus to the whole team, plus like a pretty big energy regen stat here. I do think this one's a little better than her weapon. Like her weapon maxes out her anomaly mastery, and it maxes out these buffs here, as well as it gives the entire team 60 anomaly proficiency. But once your builds are getting close to late game and they're so good, like her, she's running 300 AP right now, but this weapon gives her another 200, so she's running 500 AP. Adding 60 more AP to that is just kind of like, who cares, right? And if I wanted more AP on her, I could just give her a 2-piece, one of these, right? And then she'll have like way more. She'll have close to 400 on her build, plus this will give her another 200, so now she's at 600. So another 10% extra, because 60, 10% of 600, another 10% extra anomaly proficiency isn't going to help her out too much. Her, the same thing as well, where it's like, she's at 420, right? And adding another 60 isn't really going to be super big deal. So yeah, that's why I don't find her weapon particularly useful. I do think Weeping Cradle is probably the best for her long term. Not only that, but also it helps out in non-anomaly teams. So you can run her in like a Sambi team or like a Soldier 11 team or whatever, right? She's not going to be super optimal because some of her passive abilities don't work. But a 15% damage bonus from her kit, 1200 attack, plus another 30% from this weapon, that's a pretty big damage bonus. And that's not even mentioning this set, right? So it's just something to keep in mind. Anyway, this video is supposed to be shorter, but I ended up going way longer. Attribute anomaly. So just a bigger stun window for attribute anomaly people. Rupture. Basic attack. Ice. This is just an entire ice thing. Man, Miyabi would love this, I think. I don't have her, so I wouldn't know exactly, but I'm pretty sure she'd like that. Whenever we stun, so we're going to need a lot of stuns here. When an enemy is stunned, the whole squad recovers 20 energy. A bloom damage increases by 30% for 30 seconds. Okay, so I'm curious to see how fast we can stun her. If anything, I might end up doing something with Seth because he can stun faster than her, but we're losing a bloom if we're running Seth, so I don't know. We'll see. I don't know why I was like...
Wanna know what lurks in the darkness?
Oh, I didn't... This is like the second time I fought this guy. I didn't realize that was going to hit me. Let's just start over. He goes into his control phase. I guess the last one, the lady, the robot girl, went into her control phase pretty quickly. I wasn't expecting him to go that far. The first time I fought him, I think I was using, what's her name? I forgot her name was already. Yexing Wang. And Yexing Wang just ignores everybody's everything.
Careful.
Oh, I can't believe I missed that. I messed up.
Wanna know what lurks in the darkness?
Yeah, this is always going to be like this is just how it goes whenever you fight a boss you never fought before. It's just a little awkward at first. Like I said, I have fought him. I think in I think I fought him in the what's it called? That mode, you know, Hollow Zero. But again, when you're running Yeshing Wong, you don't really pay attention to any enemy mechanics. You just don't care. There we go.
Careful. I bite. Wanna know what lurks in the darkness? Here's a taste of the abyss.
Even though I'm wasting this, I just want to spend as much resources to get the bomb, the assaults off during stun. That's kind of like how this boss is trying to get me to. There we go. I don't know how, you know. There we go. We gotta.
I bite. Now,
And with the ults. I should, you know, honestly, I should save ults for stun windows, but whatever.
Don't you know? Hit my trust stirred in your pit.
wanna know what lurks in the darkness? I'll make it clear.
Oh, I messed up.
Come on! Don't be nervous!
Found your weakness.
There we go. Now we're talking.
I bite. Wanna know what lurks in the darkness?
Look, I have ult up already. I think it's the result of all the chain attacks you get from running Yuzuha, but I don't know.
Begins now.
It just feels abnormally high. Like, I almost never have ult up for stun windows with Jane.
Notice me. Lord
Careful. I bite. I'll make it painless.
So we barely made it. We hit 20 something, which I think, if you ask me, is not a very good showing because, like, just barely hitting 2K, we made it by 3,000 over. I think I'm curious how much of that is my builds and how much of that is going into an enemy that's not weak to physical. He is weak to ether, right? But the reason I'm just thinking out loud is like this team has way too many points to not beat him more handily. Like I would at least like 25 because if we look at the team, we're looking at Jane and her weapon. She's got 2 of her weapon. One of her weapons doesn't count because I got it for free from the shop. But anyway, the point being is like her plus her weapon at rank 2. Vivian, obviously she has a 4-star, so we'll take that. And Yuzuha is at M3, right? So, or M2, I mean. So I think let's see, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a 6-cost team, and we're only getting like 20, 23, not even 25. I think with some more skill and more time, I'll hit 25. But even 25 is kind of like drastically low. So I might try at some point running this with an electric, but I really don't know, man. Like, for one, let's go take a look at. The other thing too might just be that Vivian's build is actually kind of trash because of the pen ratio. We've been noticing that because of Yeshing Wong, there's been a lot of low defense units, and I don't know how to check. Can you check? Because you can't check his stats, can you? Yeah. So someone will probably have to data mine, or you guys can find somewhere. If he does have high defense, then pen ratio does give you less returns. So I would recommend swapping her out, making sure she's on what's it called, on Aether damage instead of pen ratio. So that would be my recommendation for any of you who are doing this. But yeah, I don't know. Just like I said, it's pretty low. We're getting reduced damage whenever he's not stunned. So the fact that, again, I think that might be it. It's just that like this team can output a lot of damage during the stun window, the same way like the Angels of Delusion. That's kind of the whole point of them, is to get a lot of their stuff. But I am curious. I guess we'll do a run real quick. Let's reset this. I'm gonna try this with Sambi and see what kind of damage we can do. Attribute anomaly, all this stuff. When enemy is stunned, the whole squad gains 20 energy. A bloom is increased by 30%. That's not bad. Ultimate damage by 30. Sheer damage. We get crit damage though. And a higher stun damage. I might actually just use this for Sambi, but basic attack, dodge counter, and ultimate is increased by 20%, which is good. And it ignores 30% of the enemy's ice resistance, which doesn't... I mean, it's not bad. It just doesn't really matter that much. When inflicting disorder on an enemy, the agent critical damage is increased by 50%. The stun for longer and has a higher stun multiplier. This is kind of interesting. I'm curious because, okay, so originally what I was going to do was run this, save and exit, because of the lightning ether weakness. But now I'm wondering, because of the added stipulations here for these bonuses, so ultimate damage is increased and ignores the res, it doesn't matter. We do get crit damage and stun recovery and stun multiplier increase when we inflict disorder for 20 seconds. The reason I'm considering is what if we run this with Yuzuha here,
Nothing to fear.
who should increase some of their anomaly buildup, I think. Let me see. Do we get any anomaly buildup? No, we don't get any extra buildup. Unless it's somewhere else in the kit, which I'm not. Well, she builds up some on her own because she does her off-field attacks, right? And when she does her off-field attacks, they element match. So they element match, Sambi's electricity or whatever. But yeah, we don't get this extra bonuses down here because her thing doesn't work. Still, I think I might want to try this. Hold on, am I going to use Yuzuha for any other team? I don't think so. I'm using Miyabi here, or Miyabi, Yishuan here, and I think I'll just use Yisheng Wang here. That's probably what I'm going to end up doing, so we'll just do that. So here we'll use Yuzuha. I'm actually curious to see how this team will do. I don't think it's going to do very well, but whatever. Anomaly damage is increased by 20. Build-up rate is increased by 30. So that'll help this team a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. Let's just find it. Let's fire it off. This is actually a huge team because Sambi plus her weapon, trigger plus her weapon plus another trigger Mindscape plus 3 from Yuzuha. This is an 8-cost team, so hopefully it does decent.
Save your strength, Envy. Recalibrating.
Roger that.
Engaging.
This.
Don't be nervous. Roger that.
I don't know. He has that purple barrier on. I'm curious to see. Is that like eating up my damage? That's eating. Oh, I'm doing no damage to him. That's crazy.
Get ready.
We're just gonna ult him here.
Are one with the wind.
So that was just a wasted stun, basically, is what you're telling me.
Engaging. What you deserve. Roger that.
Increase fire.
That might have been one of the reasons we lost a bunch of stuff last time. because I dumped too much damage during that that phase. That's interesting.
Now you can.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong, buddy.
Roger that. What you deserve.
You're just not like, you just don't get used to, it takes a while to get used to like which attacks give you the yellow flash and which don't automatically.
Reach its mark.
But yeah, it just takes some time to get that back in the swing of things.
Engaging.
I shouldn't ult him. This mic is too close to my face.
Roger that. That's all.
I'm not popping the electric anomaly. Look at it. It's just sitting there, maxed out.
Not over.
Adjusting for wind.
Sounds right.
I shouldn't have dodged that. There's nothing more frustrating when you're playing Yuzuha than when you swap to her and she's like riding her umbrella to who knows where, doing who knows what. It's just, it pisses me off like crazy. Oh, we biffed it. Yeah. So clearly this boss was more designed for anomaly, and I think I burned way too much damage on like that purple bar still covering his HP bar. So, however, I think partially it depends on how quickly this boss needs to be stunned. I think maybe I'll do a little bit because you're supposed to block to take that thing down. And clearly I stunned him before we got to block the shield off of him. So I think maybe if I'm gonna bring Sambi back into that, I'll probably swap this out for like this to reduce her impact a little bit. But I don't know. We'll see. It's probably still not worth it. But I think for now, the important thing is we got it done. I think I'm probably just gonna bring what's her name, Jane Doe back into this and do this with Vivian. But yeah, no, we'll see from there. What else? Yeah, I guess that's everything. These two, we've already done these two, so it's just mainly over him. The only thing that tripped me up was that barrier. I didn't like that weird barrier that he has. Obviously, I kind of thought it was like the what's the one we're talking about? The you know what? The other thing too is it's kind of annoying. The miasma barrier, you can't stun them until that barrier gets removed. Like it will not let you stun them until it comes off. That one, it let us stun him, and then obviously I wasn't, I'm not super like observant. I started dumping all my damage because he was stunned, right? What do you want me to do about that? But I wasn't getting any score out of that, so that entire stun window was wasted. So we might have gotten close to like 25 with this team if I had played that correctly the way it should have been, but it is what it is. Just keep that in mind whenever you fight him is you don't want to stun him too fast, because if you stun him during that purple phase, it's not good. So maybe bringing in a traditional stunner team isn't really the best idea here. But again, I might, like, if I get good results using Grace, where is she? If I get decent result using Grace, you might see a replay through of that with Grace instead. But I really don't perceive me being able to reach anything decent with her. Again, probably my build is contributing to why, but I don't know. What else is there? Is that anything? I think that's everything. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. I think the next one probably just going to be Pompeii. Might bring in, or not Pompeii, Miasma Priest. But yeah, see you guys next time.